Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Sam, and in today's video I'm going to be testing out a lot of the Fantasy Maker. It's like the Halloween collection from Wet n Wild. I got a few different products from there, so I got mine at Walmart. If you like any of these things, go run to your Walmart and go pick them up. If you want to see how I got this look, then please just keep watching. I just want to start off by telling you guys the things that I got. This Wet n Wild sponge was a part of the limited edition collection. They had orange and green also, I think, but purple is kind of my vibe. So I got this sponge. I got the Wet n Wild colored mascara from the Fantasy Makers collection, and I got this purple. Here is kind of what the wand looks like. It's very spiky. I got these lashes, and they've got like a purple layer to them. It's like the top layer is black and then the under layer is purple, so I'm super excited for those. And then I got this little eyeshadow palette, which I'm super excited to use today. I'm going to be using the purples, but I think that these would create a really cool look too, so let me know if you want me to do a look with the, don't drop the palette, Sam, the teal look, the teal shadows in this eyeshadow palette. I'm also going to throw some swatches up here on the screen from where I swatched the palette for you guys. So without further ado, I primed my eyelids off camera using the P. Louise base in the shade 0.5, and then I set it with the e.l.f. sheer tint finishing powder. And now I'm going to go in with the middle purple shade, this one right here, and I'm going to work that in the outer corner, up into the crease, and into the inner corner. Just kind of lightly rocking this back and forth. This is like a super dark color to start with, and it's kind of making me super nervous. So I'm hoping that this turns out well. I'm swirling this in the outer corner and using windshield wiper motions to rock this back and forth all the way throughout the crease, and then swirling it again once I hit the inner corner to kind of diffuse that everywhere. And then I'm going to pick up a brush with no additional product on it, just to kind of diffuse that out into like where my nose bone is that meets my brow bone, and then also up onto the brow bone. I'm going to kind of lightly rock that back and forth and make sure that everything's kind of diffused, since I'm going into such a dark color to start with. Then I'm going to pick up a smaller brush and go back in with that same purple shade and start to kind of build that up a little further. And I'm going to kind of keep this a little bit lower in the crease. Then go back in with that additional brush, just kind of blow it out a little bit. I know this is kind of like bruised, like I got a black eye vibes, but just kind of going with it, trusting the process, you know, take it one step at a time. And just because there's not really a light matte shade in this palette, I am going to dip into the Bling Boss Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, the one from the Vault, and I'm going to dip into the shade right here. It's called Hush Hush, and I'm going to use that just to kind of blow out around the edges, because I am going to make this pretty deep, so I just want it to be kind of seamless around the edges and then be like really extravagant right in the middle. I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning, but this Fantasy Makers palette that I'm using is the Hallow Queen, because if I remember correctly, there was 2 different Fantasy Maker eyeshadow palettes. So if you would like for me to pick up the other one and do a look with the second Fantasy Maker palette, I could definitely do that. And now I'm going to take that smaller brush that I was using before and go back in with that purple shade. Just continue to intensify that purple. I kind of blended that Hush Hush shade on top of it and took a little bit away from it, so I just want to make sure that it's very distinct whenever I go in with the black. And now I'm going to pick up the black from the Fantasy Maker palette on a little small smudge brush from e.l.f. And I'm just going to pat that right in my inner corner. And then I'm going to go back in with the small fluffy brush to blend it out. I'm just using this to kind of place it exactly where I want it to be, so I can kind of control it a little bit better, because Lord knows black is super intense. And then I'm also going to do the same thing. I'm going to pack it right here on the outer corner and then go in and blend it out all together. I'm going to go in with that brush with no additional product on it to start with, and just kind of slowly wiggle it back and forth. And then lightly going to take it right here between the two corners to kind of meet it in the middle. Then I'm going to go back in with that purple again and go around the edges. I go back in with that brush that I had the Hush Hush shade on and blow out around the edges again. Now, as if I didn't look crazy enough, I'm going to take that P. Louise base and use that to cut right here in the center so I can kind of create a halo eye. Look up, look all around. That way it creates the center line that I need to follow and make my cut crease. Now I'm just going to kind of pat that with my finger, make sure that there's not too much base left. I want it to be sticky, but I don't want there to be like globs left on it. Now I'm going to pick up that small blending brush and just slowly start to kind of flick inward onto that concealer just a little bit, and then go along the top crease too. Because even though I want this to be defined and sharp, I want it to be blended at the same time. And I found that if I kind of blend on top of the concealer a little bit, or in this case the primer that I used, then it makes it easier to blend it all together later. Just lightly flick it around the edges. And then I'm going to pick up a flat brush and this kind of duochrome purple shade. Spritz that with my Morphe setting spray, and I'm going to pack that onto where I placed that concealer. When I get up to the edge, making sure I'm very, very careful. And then once again, going back in with that brush and just kind of flicking it in a little bit. I did just tap into the shade Gem from the Bling Boss palette, this one right here, and just very, very lightly tapped it on top of the purple just to kind of add just a little something since I had it here in front of me. But I'm going to do this eye and my face makeup off camera and come back and we'll finish off together. Alright, you guys, so my camera may or may not have died. So there's that. I just put some of that purple that I put all over my lid and everywhere. I just ran that under my lower lash line, and then I popped on that purple mascara, which I really don't feel like did anything literally at all. So there's that. And then I used the Supernatural lashes. They have like a purple hue to them. I thought they were kind of cool. They're really big. Like if I look up, I can feel them like right here in my eyebrow, so it feels kind of funny. And then the other thing that I used was obviously the sponge, which I really like. It's comparable to the Total Face Sponge from e.l.f. I really love that one too, so I might pick this one up in a couple of the other colors just so I can have them on deck. But yeah, and then I braided my hair and threw on these like spider webby pants. The only other thing that I got was these little gem things, and I don't know, I kind of want to put them on, but I'm kind of nervous. Stay tuned to the very end and maybe you'll see that. But yeah, so this is the final look. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and comment any other video ideas that you have for me down below, and I will do my very best to get them filmed for you. And until next time, bye guys.